Warren Buffett is one of the greatest investors of all time, growing his net worth from $1,200 when he was a teenager to now over $150 billion. And many smart investors have built large net worth portfolios benefiting from Buffett's success. Whether that's investing in his company, Berkshire Hathaway, copying all of his trades, which are all publicly available, or adopting his philosophy on value investing in good companies at great prices, and not just chasing after the latest trends in tech or AI. But what if I told you that the old way of value investing that Warren Buffett used to follow is now obsolete, and that there is a new way of value investing that beats the old way by around 10% per year? Well, in this video, I'm going to explain exactly what's going on with Warren Buffett's favorite value investing strategy, comparing the old version of this strategy to the new version of this strategy, and then I'm going to show you how you can invest in these new value investing stocks. My name is Brian Dean. I'm a former investment banker with a Master of Science in Finance, and my goal on this channel is to help you master the market. And when it comes to investing in stocks, there are really two major types that people tend to talk about, and these are growth stocks versus value stocks. Growth stocks are companies that tend to have very high revenue growth, and while these companies may not make a lot of money today, investors buy these stocks because they expect that they will make a lot more money in the future. Value stocks, on the other hand, are companies that may not have as high of revenue growth, but they tend to make a lot more profit, and investors will buy these value stocks because they believe that the stock's price is undervalued compared to the company's true value. Now, while this may sound like common sense, the concept of value stocks was actually formally introduced only in the early 90s by two professors named Eugene Fama and Kenneth French. These guys basically said, hey, what would happen if we took all of the stocks and looked at their value on paper compared to where they're trading in the market? And they went one step further and they said, what would happen if we invested in the top 10% of these value stocks and we shorted or sold the bottom 10% of these stocks? After some complicated statistical analysis, the professors showed that when you build a portfolio in this way, you would actually make more money than if you just invested in the stock market as is. And this phenomenon has a name which you might hear referred to as the value factor. What these professors didn't realize, though, was that they had just stumbled upon the strategy that many value investors like Warren Buffett had been using for decades. The issue was that this value factor wasn't very consistent. It would have some really good years and some really bad years, and over time it seemed like it started to fade away. And that's mostly because of the reason that value stocks used to be measured. You see, Fama and French first came up with this value factor in the early 90s, before the explosion of technology and software companies. And since most companies use lots of physical equipment to make their products, their book value was a pretty accurate view of the assets that that company had. These days, however, more and more companies have lots of assets that don't show up in their book values. Think of big software companies like Microsoft, Google, Facebook, and Netflix. But even though the old value factor has been fading away, that hasn't stopped new investors from finding a new way to think about value stocks that is generating double-digit yearly returns. Instead of looking at book value, these investors have started looking at free cash flow, which is the total cash that a company generates and can potentially pay out to its investors. In fact, one ETF company decided to do an analysis very similar to what Fama and French did back in the 90s, but this time they took the top 1,000 US stocks and ranked them by their free cash flow yield. And what they found was very interesting. The top 10% of these stocks have delivered 17% returns per year going all the way back to 1991, compared to the bottom 10% of these stocks, which returned only 4% per year over the same period. Just to put into perspective how big of a deal this is, if you invested $10,000 at 4% from 1991 to today, you would have $38,000, give or take. But if you had earned 17% over that same time period, you would have $2 million. Luckily, there are multiple ways to invest in these new versions of value stocks, and the easiest one are through ETFs, and there are currently 5 to choose from. But the one that I want to highlight for you is ticker COWZ, and that is the Pacer US Cash Cows Index by Pacer ETF. the same company that did the research that I mentioned earlier in the video. This ETF has $25 billion in assets and has returned close to 16% per year over the last 5 years, which by the way is more than double the performance of the Russell 1000 Value Index, which is the old method of value investing. The way that this ETF works is that it picks the 100 highest free cash flow yield stocks from the Russell 1000 index. From there, they invest more heavily into the companies that are generating the most free cash flow on that list. In case you're interested, I'm going to put the other ETFs here on the screen, and I'll also leave links in the description down below so you can go check them out for yourself. But if you want my opinion, I think these are all going to behave roughly about the same, and I personally would go with the Pacer ETF since they're the largest and most established out of these 5. If you want my take on all this, I actually think this is a really cool strategy. It's Dean certified. I just made that up, but in all seriousness, I am actually considering adding some of this to my long-term portfolios. Oh, and if you're looking for more good investment ideas, you can watch one of these videos here, or you can just subscribe to the channel.